Let's Bet. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard. Let's Bet is about sports betting, sides, totals, money lines. I've been betting sports professionally full-time in Las Vegas for 30 years. I'm going to show you how I do it. Last weekend, the first annual Vegas Video Network mini golf tournament took place, and my friend and co-host won it, Jacob Cannon.
That's right, baby. And I'm not Freddie Mercury, but today I do feel like a champion.
You are a champion. I love the jacket.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it fit perfectly, but it did fit pretty close. Not saying it was a setup or anything. I'm just saying.
Well done, my friend. We'll be checking back with Jacob a little bit later on in the show. My concern as the host, co-host with Jacob Cannon for this show is that he's going to wear that darn jacket for the next 51 weeks. To reach out to us, a couple of things you can do. Email us at letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. We also have a listener line, 866-966-4599, 866-966-4599. Now let's get started. Preseason football started Thursday night. Really excited to have pro football back. Regular season starts first week in September. We have games going on the entire weekend. Jacob and I will be getting to one of our selections on Saturday night. We'll touch base on that. Let's talk about trends and where you can find value, specifically which teams present value every August this time of year. For instance, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 17 of their past 21 preseason football games have gone under the closing total. Part of this has to do with the fact that the head coach is very conservative by nature. They don't want to take any chances. They play very good, sound defense. Defense seems to have an advantage this time of year. They tend to be ahead of the offense overall. So 17 of the 21 games for the Steelers the past 4 seasons in preseason have gone under the total. The Baltimore Ravens, another team, 17 of 23 games have gone under the total, and that includes what happened on Thursday night when they lost a very close game, 13-7, to the Philadelphia Eagles, which brings me to Andy Reid, the coach of the Eagles. The last 7 years in openers, straight up, Eagles 0-7, but they did win last night, so 1-7. So when you step up to the bet window or step up to your computer to bet online, keep in mind that the more information you have, the better the chances you have for success. Obviously, a lot of the same information the odds makers have. I can tell you that the Jacksonville Jags are 5-0 in preseason openers in their last 5 under coach Jack Del Rio. Jacksonville, they've always been a very good preseason football team. That usually changes once the regular season starts, but every year they come on like a house on fire in the preseason. Now, there's one team in particular that really stands out in pro football, especially in preseason. I'm talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about a team in their last 17 preseason games, ATS against the spread, 2 wins, 15 losses. This team, they've been atrocious. Now, Herm Edwards, the previous coach, very conservative. That leads to why they really didn't fare very well, ATS against the spread. But even now, Todd Haley, the new coach for the Chiefs, he's gone on record as saying, hey, listen, my players have had 10 to 11 days to get ready for their first preseason game. This team is somewhat of a skeleton of the team that we saw from a year ago. These are not my words. We're talking about the words of the head coach, Todd Haley. I think everyone found this out because the Chiefs at home, Friday night hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Chiefs opened a 1.5-point favorite, even though they're 2-15 ATS against the number. All the money has come in on Tampa Bay. The Bucs now are favored 2.5 and a touch of 3. So that line has moved 4.5 points. Now, we've talked many times on Let's Bet on the Vegas Video Network about value. You want to be on the move early or against it late. So, if, for instance, if you like the Chiefs, it would probably make sense to bet the Chiefs +3 at home. If you like Tampa Bay, I really question if you want to lay 2.5, 3 points at this late date. If you like Tampa Bay today, I mean, really, what's changed in 2 to 3 days other than the line has moved? I mean, Tampa Bay, if you like the Bucs, why not have +1.5 on Tuesday instead of laying 3 today? So my way of thinking is, if you have an opinion on the game, Tampa Bay plus the 1.5 or Kansas City plus the 3. The idea, again, friends, be on the move early or against it late. Now, Saturday night, we have a very interesting game in preseason. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts. They're on the road taking on the St. Louis Rams. Jacob, I want to get your opinion on this game as the Rams at home favored by 7. The total on this game is 34.5.
I'm going to go with the Rams giving up the 7 points, even though that seems like a lot. We've got no Peyton Manning in the Colts, and it's still preseason, so it's going to be a little rusty. So I'm taking the Rams minus the 7 at the home.
There you have it. You heard it here first. Jacob Cannon likes the Rams minus the 7 points Saturday night as they host the Indianapolis Colts without Peyton Manning. Now, of course, the line reflects the fact that Peyton Manning will not be playing in this contest. Curtis Painter, backup quarterback for the Colts, he'll be seeing plenty of action, as will the Rams quarterback Bradford, followed by Feely. So we'll see how this plays out. I will say from a sports betting standpoint that this line opened Rams minus 6. It's been bet up to 7. It's 7 everywhere. Jacob likes the Rams minus the 7 points. I do have an opinion on this game. Saturday night, Rams hosting the Colts. I like under 34.5. Now, we talked a little bit about the Colts not being a very good preseason team. What does that mean? Tony Dungy, their previous coach, Jim Caldwell picking up where he left off. Fact is, the Colts are 5-12 ATS against the spread. That bodes well for my good friend Jacob Cannon as he's laying the 7 points with the Rams. My play is under 34.5. I really feel that, knowing that Peyton Manning obviously is not playing in this game. Even if he did play, we know from previous experience that he'd only play 1, 2, 3 series tops, so he would be missing 80-90% of the game anyway. I still see value in the under. The only concern I have is when you have backups playing against other backups, a lot of times it leads to mistakes and or turnovers. Turnovers very, very hard to forecast, but we do know, don't ask me how I know, but turnovers lead to points. But I do like under 34.5. Now, before we get to Let's Bet answers your questions, we're going to take a station ID break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Chris Phillips from Talk Tales, and you're watching the Vegas Video Network. And if you stop by the studio, our producer Scott's going to buy everybody a drink.
Welcome back to Let's Bet. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard. Great to have you with us. You can catch us live every Friday morning, 11 o'clock Las Vegas time. Keep in mind that every Friday night from 6 to 10 o'clock at night, KSHP Radio, AM 1400, all the shows from Vegas Video Network are rebroadcast, so be sure and check that out. It's time now for Let's Bet Answers Your Questions. This is where we take questions, comments from the email at letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com or the listener line, 866-966-4599. We encourage you to keep those questions and comments coming. Jacob, what do we have?
A couple of questions here. First one, we kind of touched on this just a little bit earlier. Vincent wants to know, should he bet on the Colts win total under since Peyton Manning may not start this year?
Here's what you have right now. Sports betting, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, it's day to day. If you're looking at a future play, the thing you always want to look at is injuries. And it's tough to forecast injuries. We know at this point in time, right now, Peyton Manning is not questionable. He's not doubtful. He's out for this game. What happens down the road in the next preseason games and or the regular season is anyone's guess. Sports books, what you'll see that they do, if they're not quite sure what's going to happen, they'll limit how much you can bet on a 5-month investment over under total wins for the Colts, or they'll just flat out take it off the board. Now, if you are primey to inside info, whether it's through a specific reporter that has inside info, if you will, you might consider possibly middling it if it goes from hypothetically 10.5 wins to 11 or 10.5 to 10, or just scalp grind to where you either win or you tie. Something to keep in mind. But again, sportsbooks oftentimes will either take it off the board until they know for sure, or they'll limit how much you can bet. Next.
You just touched on one question I was about to follow up. It was about middling that, and that's a great point. Last question here is from Rick, and he wants to know, do you prefer betting sides or totals when betting preseason football?
Wherever I can find value. My record strictly indicates that I really lean on totals. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that you find more disparity, more deviation. Lines will move more on totals than, say, they do sides. Most of the general public bet sides only. I really tend to bet totals. But obviously, if I can take Kansas City +3 or Tampa Bay +1.5 in the same game, there's a great 4.5-point middle. Something you want to keep in mind, too, friends, when it comes to preseason football, different rules. And by that I mean the mindset of the coaches and the players as well as the individual teams overall. Because what you have, if a game is, let's say it's 17-10 late, regular season game, the team that's down 7, they'll punch it in, go for the extra point. It goes overtime. It'll be decided by 3 points or 6. But in a preseason game, keep an eye on those low numbers because you might not think that 1.5, 2, 2.5 helps you much, but it will, especially if you like the dog, simply because if a team's down 7 late in a preseason game, they score the touchdown at 17-16, they won't even kick the extra point. They'll go for 2, either win by 1 or lose by 1. Everyone goes home, no one gets hurt, no one cares. So please keep that in mind as we move forward. That's going to wrap up this edition of Let's Bet. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard. Jacob Cannon, my co-host. Do we have any final comments?
I'd just like to say, make sure you check out all the great content on Vegas Video Network. We're expanding, we're growing. There's some new stuff in the works that we can't talk about yet, but it'll be coming soon.
Yeah, believe me when they say they can't talk about it, I don't even know about it. So for my friend and co-host Jacob Cannon, executive producer Scott Whitney, I'm Scott Pritchard. Thanks for tuning in. We're live every Friday morning, 11 o'clock, Las Vegas time. Reach out to us. Again, email us, letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. That's letsbet@vegasvideonetwork.com. Keep those questions and comments coming. The toll-free listener line, 866-966-4599, 866-966-4599. Check me out, my website, pritchardspicks.com. That's pritchardspicks.com. That wraps it up. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.